Hello, everybody. I hope that you can hear me. This is CBiz Media, Irene, and we are live on Licmc Radio as well as on London, Washington's channel. And if you're my friend, you can also see this on my channel as well on Facebook. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. We wanted to do something a little different for our Saturday night on Licmc Radio, CBiz Media, and kind of just showcase some episodes from our podcast. So I'm going to showcase something that we did earlier, and it's actually called Monsters Are Real. But before I get into that, let me just do a few announcements here. 222, we're doing something a little bit different on 222. I just thought that was a really cool number. So I decided that we're going to do something on 22222. So check us out on CBiz Media, online, on Facebook, on our Facebook page at CBiz TV Media Online. That's our Facebook page. And you can also check us out on our YouTube page at CBiz TV Media. So right now I'm going to play this from one of the Facebook groups, but we did a Clubhouse earlier. Well, I did one kind of showcasing and highlighting some of the recent podcast episodes that we have done. Of course, I want to say Happy Black History Month, but I want to get into this discussion right quick and invite you guys to hear more on the podcast. You can check it out anytime at cbiztvonline.com. So let's try to get into this here. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Depending on what time you are listening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I just wanted to talk about this topic, monsters are real. But before I get into that, I want to invite you guys to check out our podcast, which kind of connects to that. Our recent episode, our most recent, is an inspirational episode where we're sharing some great Black business opportunities. And if you continue to look, we get into some Black people that have done some great things in our community. They're very talented, but they have been disgraced due to certain controversies that have come up. So that's what I want to get to when I say monsters are real. But before I go to that, I do want to invite you to hang out with us on 22222. That's Tuesday. And at 2:22 p.m., we're going to be sharing on our Facebook. Check us out on CBiz TV Media online or our YouTube at CBiz TV Media. There we will be doing something special for 2/22/22. What are your plans? Is there anything special that you want to do on your social medias or just actually go somewhere or do something? I mean, I don't know what the significance of all those twos are, but I just thought it was a special time to take advantage of all those twos. It's got to be something. It's got to mean something, and I guess it can mean something if you want it to. But let me get into the part where I'm talking about monsters are real. Um, Again, we talked recently on our podcast about some disgraced African Americans that have done some great things in our society. Of course, we do not want to dismiss the greatness that they have portrayed, their talent, the things they have done to actually help our community, which is awesome. But there's things that they've done to hurt the community as well. And we don't want to turn a blind eye to that. Some people didn't want to believe that these people did what they did. And honestly, I understand. Some of them are beloved, some of them are just loved and maybe liked a lot. But, when people put a persona out there for so many years, we start to believe that they're the nice guy and they're this and they're that. And we find out later that they've been doing stuff behind closed doors, they've been doing stuff in the dark. And people that have grown up with these people, watching them do what they do in real time, they have a real connection. And a lot of times we don't want to believe it. But I see the younger generation, the generation following, they're kind of more accepting, like, okay, this person did mess up and let's move on. They're more accepting of the fact that people do mess up and people do make mistakes. And as far as black people, we don't have to have this squeaky clean image, even though, we've had to try to be better and look perfect in a lot of scenarios in society to just be respected. And that's kind of an old school way of thought, I guess, because the younger people are like, okay, they messed up. If they believe it, it's more believable for them that this person is fallible. No one's infallible. We should know that. But the world of entertainment in society, especially growing up, I say in the 80s is when I grew up, there was different type of standards. And I think that we kind of wanted to believe things were in rose colored glasses in a certain way. And nowadays it's just real with people today. Just, I mean, you see people in the headlines all the time for doing things that they shouldn't be doing. It's almost just becoming an everyday regular thing, and I don't want us to be that society where, okay, they messed up, oh well, this is what they do, or they messed up and now they get more attention than if they would have done something great or done something helpful. I don't want us to be in that society either. But I do want us to recognize monsters are real, and it's not exclusive to any race. It's not, I mean, of course, we want to look at our own people and lift them up, especially during Black History Month. All love to all of our people. We've done some great things, we've defeated some amazing things. And I do think we've been scarred and damaged through everything we've been through as well. But that still doesn't say, hey, it's okay to be a detriment to society, whether it be our society or other races or other classes or areas. Um, we have to realize that monsters are real. Monsters are out here, and the scariest monsters are the ones that look like they're the nice guy. Those are the ones that we don't expect, we don't anticipate to do this or be this. But I just want everybody to look out for monsters because they are real, and the devil is real, and he's out here doing things. So you don't want to just take things for face value. And I think my generation, 80s and probably 70s, 80s, sometimes we did that. We took things for face value and thought something, whatever it looked like, that that's what it was. But in this generation, we are finding now that even the best looking people have things in their closets, things that they never really explored. Hi, Davion. Things that they
Good
never
morning.
really. Good morning. Yeah, I'm just talking about some of my recent podcast episodes, and monsters are real. Even our black society, we want to, of course, look up to some great people, but they have done some things. Some have done things in the dark. that may have just now come to light, and we kind of have to accept that. I'm saying generations like 70s and 80s growing up. If you grow up and you see this person and you look up to them, it's hard to believe that they did these things. But let's say the younger generation behind us, they're like, okay, they did mess up, so what? I think that this generation is now more accepting of, okay, somebody messed up, and they don't just take things for face value. So, do you have any comments on that?
Sorry, I was connecting my Bluetooth. Yeah, I do actually. It's a wonderful it's a wonderful concept. I often, based off of what you're saying, I often think about Monique's story, and she talked about how she met Oprah at a young age, and Oprah told her, hey, you're gonna be somebody. You're such a wonderful girl. Good morning. And you're such a wonderful black girl and all this kind of stuff. And later on in life, she took those words for face value. She challenged herself. She became a famous comedian. And then later on in life, she had a chance to meet Oprah face to face, right? And she said, I just want to thank you because you told me this, told me that, and it really helped me become who I am. And Oprah pretty much told her, oh, well, I tell every little girl that. And from Monique, she thought that Oprah was speaking to her, but it turns out no, a lot of times these people with influences and celebrity status, they get, what do you call it? They get kind of robotic, remote in their response to people. So when they meet people and things like that, and they talk to people, and they have these ways of responding, and people think that it's legitimate, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. We can't hold everybody to that standard, but especially within our community, it becomes almost robotic. They say these things and do these things, and we think that it's designed to be a blessing to people, and all the while it's just a character, if you will, that's being played or portrayed. And I think we have to do better with that, for sure.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's to go along to get along, especially when Oprah came up. It was a lot harder. She was like one of the pioneers, and I don't know. I feel like I do love Oprah, but I do feel like she played the white people a lot, because that was kind of the society, and that was really the people kind of paying her bills in a way. So she kind of put on that face, and I feel like sometimes people in that black people that get in those high places, they kind of lose touch with where they came from to some degree. And like you said, they're just trying to put on a face or persona of what is expected or what people think of them. And in a way, they kind of lose touch. But again, like the people that we look up to, I just want people to know that, hey, they're not perfect. And some of them can be monstrous. And if you listen to our podcast, you'll know what I'm talking about. And everybody doesn't believe some of the allegations and things that may have not been proven or may have been. But unless you've encountered a monster up close in your life, you might not think it's possible. But there's monsters in people's homes. There's people that grow up with people that you think that they're their loving family member, whatnot, but they have a monstrous side. So anybody can turn. It doesn't matter if they're in high places or in your home. Just to be aware is really what I want people to do. Is be aware and just pray and ask God to really help you discern and look out for yourself. And of course, it's Black History Month. We definitely lift our figures up high and we love them. But we also don't want to turn a blind eye to things going on in our society and to the fact that it doesn't matter your color, a monster could come in any form, any shape, any size, and they could be right next to you. They could be a familiar face or they could be someone that may be foreign to you. So just to be aware of that fact. And so you guys can check out our website on our podcast at cbiztvonline.com. Thanks for stopping in, Davion. Hope you have a great rest of your morning. And again, hang out with us on 22222. We're going to do something. Go to our Facebook page at CBiz Media Online. And you can also go to our, um, I think I said YouTube, CBiz TV Media, and Facebook, CBiz Media Online. So, do you have any plans for 22222, Mr. Davion?
As of right now, I don't believe so. So I would definitely be stopping in and hanging with you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm actually listening to the episode now, but I definitely want to commend you for speaking out on it, because a lot of times, especially in our community and the history that we have, it's easy for us as a community to turn a blind eye to things, especially when we don't always get the justice historically um, that we deserve as African American people, as people in general. Especially women in our community, but that men and women in our community, we don't often get the justice that we deserve, and that's a historical thing. So just to speak out on that and understanding that, you got to get to know people in a more real way before you cast any kind of thought process as far as your judgment of character is concerned, is very real. Because a lot of times, oftentimes, like I say, especially when it comes to celebrities and things like that, or even just people in general. I like to say people typically put their best foot forward. So you're always more likely to see the better parts, or even, as I said before, a persona, somebody that doesn't even actually really exist, but there's a brand, there's a character associated with this particular person, and so they're going to always wear that cloak, if you will, put on that mask, if you will. And so for you to even speak out on it and just kind of be real about it, I appreciate that uh, in the
Thank you.
podcast.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I had LaShawn Patterson on the second session to kind of really point out the fact that yes, as Black people, we do at times we do get set up. We do get they try to bring us down in different ways. So it's not just a one way conversation. It's not just cut and dry, and it's not always easily just they did wrong. There are times when we are set up. There are times when they want us to look bad, and they want us to they want to bring us down from the level that we're on. So that's also still a possibility in our society as well. So I like the fact that we kind of have two perspectives on that. We just don't want to indict our people and just say you messed up, because at times there are, I mean, if you look at how many people that were wrongfully imprisoned, it's just everyday people of African American descent, how they were set up, or how they just chose them as a scapegoat to put them in prison and didn't find out who really did it. Just things like that happen to us all the time. So that's another conversation. So it is hard sometimes to say, well, somebody did this. You have to get so much evidence or whatever to believe, and then sometimes people still don't believe. But it's 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 always another story and another possibility. It's really complicated in the Black culture, the way that we don't get fairness and equality as other cultures, especially the white culture, because other minority cultures go through it as well. But we've suffered for a long time as African Americans. So,
Absolutely right. That's very true.
all right, thank you. All right, thanks for listening and hanging out for a second.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
You have a good day.
Again, I want to thank Davion for giving his input. Thank you guys for if you're watching. Thank you, and I want to invite you now to check out some of the podcast episodes. Um, we're not gonna get into those particular episodes, but I will share it with you because I want you guys to check out our website and see what it looks like when you go and listen to our podcast. It's absolutely free to stop in and listen, and it really supports us. So Your listen means a lot, which is what I always say. So we're going to check out some of the episodes available. This is our website here. It has a lot of different links. Listen now, our podcast information, watch us. You can actually watch our TV show here, and then it has more links as well. If you continue on the more button, so a lot of stuff here. Go to cbiztvonline.com and you can give it a look. See all the stuff we have going on and how you can participate and be a part. We want to thank LICMC for this opportunity, LICMC Radio, to share our podcast and share what we do. Thank you again, London. Okay, so you click this listen now button, simple as that, and it will lead you to our podcast episodes. And we can be found on multiple platforms, but here's one of our platforms here. And I'm going to just show you guys. This is my recent episode that we did called Pitch Your Business and Win, highlighting a great nonprofit for Black businesses and a lot for Black women as well, especially event I went to. So I'm going to share that episode. Then we have the case of R. Kelly, and we need to talk about Cosby docu-series. So these are our most recent episodes. If you want to check it out, go to CBizTVonline.com. Right now we're going to listen to Pitch Your Business and Win. I want you guys to listen to blackgirlventures.org. As far as just share my experience, what happened at this fun virtual event, giving Black businesses, Black business women the opportunity to win money by sharing their business pitch. There's also a gentleman there as well. So it's open for all Black businesses to just shoot your shot, pitch your business. So we're going to take a listen to that right now. Hey guys, have you ever thought of podcasting before? Well, Anchor is the easiest way to do it. They have all the tools you need free. You could use your computer or your phone, and they have some creation tools that let you record and edit for a great sound. Plus, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can get it heard everywhere from Spotify to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more platforms. And it's so easy. Make money easy with no minimum number of listeners. Just download the Anchor app. That's all you have to do. Get started right now. To begin, download that Anchor app or go to anchor.fm. Hey, this is Irene. I've been waiting for you. Thank you for joining me, mixing it up with me right here on the mix. You're listening to CBiz Media. Hey, so I'm excited to share with you guys about a recent business pitch competition I was able to watch and observe and take notes. But I also want you guys to know that they are not done. They are a virtual competition. It was virtual this time, but they are coming to an area near you. You can find out which states and cities that they will be in the future if you would like to check them out and be a part of the pitch competitions. I will be putting their information in the link. It's for Black businesses in different areas and communities. And they recently came to Detroit to do a virtual pitch competition. It was exciting. It was fun. We're going to get into some of the specifics. And this was brought to you by blackgirlventures.org. That's blackgirlventures.org. I will be putting that in the description, that link in the description. So if you guys want to find out how you can be a part, see if they're coming to an area near you, you can do that. But now let's get into this awesome Black business pitch competition event. Select episodes of this podcast are also heard on LICMC Radio. Just listen in Saturday nights at 10 p.m. on licmc.net. Would you like your content shared on LICMC Radio, well, send us an email for info. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Again, you can email cbiztv@yahoo.com. All right, I was excited to see this pitch competition come to the area of Detroit. I was not prepared, so I did not jump in and just say, I'm going to make my pitch. And I'm glad that I made that decision because I feel like I learned a lot as I watched. And I said, next time they come around, I want to be prepared. And they are coming back around, so that's awesome. There are people that are ready to jump right in, and I think you should always be prepared. Honestly, that's what they always tell you. And sometimes you can just jump in spontaneously and be a victor and win. So I definitely encourage you to jump in spontaneously if that's what you want to do. But for me, I'm usually a planner. That doesn't always work for me. And you do, especially if you have a business, you want to have all of your stuff together at all times. So if anything ever comes up, you want to be ready, spur of the moment. So that's something that I do have to work on. But I feel that the preparation was needed, and I'm glad that I made the decision to just watch and enjoy. Big shout out to Black Girl Ventures, and that's blackgirlventures.org. They had some great sponsors that were behind this project. It says Black Girl Ventures, but there was a male in the competition. So this, again, is for Black businesses around our community. And again, I will put that link in the description to see. So you can see if they're coming to a area near you. I believe they'll be somewhere next month. So check out that link for more on that. But yeah, I enjoyed the competition, and I'm going to try to shout out some names if I can remember. I did write some names down, and I do plan on connecting. One thing that I feel was a great opportunity to network. You could put your information in the chat. So I was able to put my info in the chat, and hopefully someone will reach out. A lot of people put their information in the chat, and I got their information. So I could go further and reach out if I would like to. Again, big shout out to Shelly Omi Bell. She was the main host of this competition. As far as she brought the competition to us, but the young lady that was hosting, her name is Naza Shelley of Carpe Diem. She did a great job as the host. And there were, I think it was like 2 or 3 main judges. And then there were 3 judges in round 1. And then round 2, there was another set of judges. But I enjoyed the experience. As we were all waiting in the room, we could chat with each other, again, network, share info. And at first, there was a couple of technical issues, but everything got smoothed out. But I can completely understand because I always have issues with my Zoom. But that's going to happen when you have people hopping on Zoom and other platforms that are virtual. You know, a lot of people were complaining they were losing their spot in the line to do their pitch. The cool thing is you could sign up and you could decide to pitch spur of the moment. So if you just signed up just to check it out, you could then decide to, I think it was click a button. It was like a raise hand button, which would allow you to get in line and actually make your pitch. So there was a number of pitches. I feel like the event was supposed to be about 2 hours, but I think it ran like 2.5 hours. And for most of that event, people were pitching. And we got down to about 8 people that made it to round 2. But the cool thing about when you pitch, if you can get, there's 3 judges there that will judge you. And if you get 3 yeses, you go to round 2. But if you just get 1 yes, you end up with $500. So you can just win $500 cash, which can definitely help you in your business or whatever you need to do. Like, it will be a nice little gift, a nice little bonus if you got a yes. So taking that chance can be worth it. If only one of the judges says yes to you, then you walk away with $500. If 2 say yes, you walk away with $1,000. If 3 say yes, you go on to round 2.
If you make it around two, I'm not sure if you get any of the cash. I think you just make it around two, which is still good. And another bonus of being in a competition like this is people get to see you. A number of people may be online watching. Other businesses in your community can see you. So it's a great way of exposure, even if you don't win anything. Only maybe a few people, maybe two or three people got no's across the board, but everybody got at least one yes for the most part. So they were able to walk away with $500. So no hard feelings on that. And for those that didn't make it to round two, they put their info in the chat so you can keep up with them, you can follow them, you can connect with them. So again, it's a win-win situation with this competition, and I really enjoyed how everything went off. One of my friends asked, "Is this like Shark Tank?" And at the time, I didn't know yet because I had yet to go, but I was promoting it and sharing it on my page, and I said, "Yeah, I think so." And it is. It has some elements of Shark Tank. You get 1 minute for the round one. You get 1 minute to talk about your business. And then they'll ask you a follow-up question. And one of them is how you plan to scale your business. And also, how do you plan to make money? How is your business actually making money? Because there's businesses that are out there that are doing great things in the community, but they don't have a plan to actually for this to become profitable. So that's a question they ask. How is this making money? And how do you plan to scale? Which means, how do you plan to expand your business, not just to this area that you're in, but how are you going to take this to the next level, to other areas? So that's two questions that you want to have in mind if you want to do this pitch competition. And I'm sure it's very similar to other pitch competitions if that's something that you want to get into, because now it's making me think of, hey, you might just want to Google pitch competitions. This competition may not come to your area, but I'm sure there's competitions that may be available to you if you Google that and do some research and do your homework. Uh, Again, this was an exciting experience. Round two, you get 3 minutes to do your pitch. So you get a longer length of time to kind of explain yourself, your business, how it all got started, for them to connect with you. And there was about 8 people that made it to that point. And they do ask you some more in-depth follow-up questions, which are similar to those first round set of questions as well. And at this time, finally, for the last 8 people, only one will win and take home that prize. I believe it was a $5,000 prize that they took home. And I'm going to share with you guys who the winner was. Congratulations to Kira Watts of Pour It Up Detroit. You can go to pouritupdetroit.com. And this is something that we heard during the pandemic, that alcohol and liquor was on the rise during the pandemic. So she was able to capitalize on that. She actually worked with PepsiCo and helped do actually virtual mixers where they showed the people involved at the mixer how to make their own drinks virtually. So it was like a how-to class in a way, as well as just to network and have fun and make your own drinks. And that's part one of it. And part two was kind of cool because she had what it called it little pour. And one of the judges was saying, oh, I don't know where she's going with this, because she called it little pour and talked about her kids. But honestly, what she was going for is they have another option where you can have virgin drinks, you can have lemonades and things where if kids are going to be at the event, that they have that option as well. So pouritupdetroit.com, check them out. They were the winners of the night. So I'm going to mention a few other people after this. Also wanted to let you guys know that they did have a DJ. They opened up with a DJ that was fun to start it off, a female DJ. Her name is DJ Ice Cole. That's DJ Ice Kole. And at the beginning, and then we took a little break in between rounds. And then at the end, she came on with the celebration mix. As the winner was announced, she brought her little kid on the screen, a little baby on the screen, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great event. giving a lot of love to our Black businesses. We need that. This is an awesome project, and it's so many ways that you can benefit, even if you don't win, to just be a part, to be able to network, to be motivated. A lot of ways that you win by just being a part of this competition. So I do want to mention some more names. And I do want to mention one of the judges, Takia Ross. She was definitely giving me some diva Simon Cowell vibes with some of her judgery. And it was fun. It was a great watch and great for our community. So I'm just going to throw out some of the names of some people that I saw at the competition. And then we're going to close out. Thanks, guys, for listening. Go to the description if you would like to get blackgirlventures.org. Get that link. Or you can also email us at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Remember, this pitch competition continues on, and they may be coming to an area near you. Select episodes of this podcast are also heard on LICMC Radio. Just listen in Saturday nights at 10 p.m. on licmc.net. Would you like your content shared on LICMC Radio? Well, send us an email for info. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Again, you can email cbiztv@yahoo.com. Another thing they let us know they wanted us to accomplish was to be comfortable with pitching. Be ready. Again, what I said in the beginning, always be ready to have your pitch on you, in your mind, in your heart, in your head, and to be comfortable with just sharing your business, because I do notice that there are people that have businesses and you would never know until one day you may see them at an event, or you may ask them about it, or it comes up. So we have to be comfortable with just sharing our business in an everyday way. Of course, we don't want to hound people and only talk about our business, because people do get annoyed by that's all you talk about. What else is going on in your life? Are you human? Of course, but to just be comfortable with sharing your business in an everyday scenario. And if you do have to do that pitch, to be ready. So that's one thing that they're trying to normalize and make us comfortable in doing in the business arena. So I thought that was a great thing. All right, so I'm going to shout out some of these names here. Brittany Hoskins, the Top Pick Collective. Lisa Smith, the Black Health Academy. Chanel Beebe at BB Arts LLC. Karis Bing, Define Hair. Kiara Slater, Picasso Kids. KhalifasMobileKitchen.com. BBB Global LLC. Esprenay Brown Apparel. Davita Quinn, Family Lifestyle Solutions. Shirley Wallings, Wesley Scotts, WesleyScotts.com. Darylyn Hudson, Stylist Suite. PrincessToQueens.org. SugarPlease.com. At Concealed Treasures. HairScoutApp.com. Thank you for listening, guys, and God bless.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that presentation. Again, if you'd like to know more about these events to help push Black-owned women businesses and Black-owned businesses in general, go to blackgirlventures.org. That's blackgirlventures.org. Now I'm going to attempt to invite someone on here, so just bear with me, guys, for a moment. and enjoy the music. I'll be back.
Hello.
Hello, London.
Hi.
Hi, London.
How are you?
Great. We are here with London from LICMC Radio, the lady that helps make it all happen. And you have some comments. I'll just let you go ahead and take over and go at it.
Well, I was listening to you. The name of your show. What is it? Monsters. Can you say the name of the show again?
Well, the we were on Clubhouse, and that segment uh was called "Monsters Are Real."
Monsters are real. Okay.
And
Well,
you're
it's
looking at a picture of Miss London right now on our website, LICMC
hi.
Radio.
Hi, everybody. Well, my comment was, and I know it's really kind of deep to the point, but and you don't hear people talking about a lot. But with you bringing this up, it just kind of something I said that we need to talk about sometimes. And you were talking about how people can come out, they seem nice to you, but on the other hand, there's a flip side, that monster. And my thing is, and I've noticed this in life over time, even when you're very young, like you said, sometimes the monster could be family or friends. But my thing is, with all that we have going on in our country today, with what African American people um, have gone through and are going through, our experience. We can say that we know, or we can expect the other race, Caucasian race or any other race, to come up against us or do something, set us up, or because of what a systematic situation of not how we're already treated anyway. They blame it on the system, but they set the system up to be that way. So when you get down to the nitty gritty, uh, it's already set up. And so as a people, there's a couple things that go on here. As a people, we stick together to be strong and to fight against or stand against, you know, how we are treated, discrimination, how you get stopped by police and they might just shoot you or kill you, all this kind of thing. That's racism, all that. And in the middle of that, while we do stick together, there's a monster that goes on within our own race. I mean, there's a lot of us that love each other. There's many of us that stick together. I had to get to the point where I found many of us do support each other. But also, there's the monster side of it, where my own, I can see my own people or person of my color, and how they'll come up against you to either stop you, pull you down, or it's an envy situation. And to me, I don't want you. Hopefully, you expect that your race would stick together at all times. So it's almost like you had to be where it's a weird kind of parallel. Like you got the side of where we stick together as a people, but we don't. We don't. We are trying to stop the point of our oppression or racism against us, discrimination against us. So we can stick together on that. But then maybe I need to separate that the color factor of my people is people are people, no matter what race they are. But to be so close together, intertwined together as a race, and then to also come up against each other, behind each other's back, or there's a point of no support, of too many. I would say, I'm not saying all, but there's a lot of times and you know why, and I guess this is when it can sneak up on you, uh, when you think somebody's got your back, or we all are in the same corner, then all of a sudden the monster will come out, and you'll see who would come up behind your back and do some things that would be, you figure, okay, you my brother, you my sister, we're supposed to stick together. Why are you trying to tear another sister, another brother down? Why are you coming against another brother, sister? What is this envy issue, that you don't want to see another brother, sister in this position? And so to me, that's the monster. And also the other monstrosity, also the closer knit sometimes that an African American might be, we're going to go all the way to the family side of things. I've seen many of us tell us as we're growing up as children, you're not going to make it, you're nobody. But and I'm going like, why would you tell your
your person that when they're growing up. It's almost instilling in them when they're very young who they are, who they're going to be. Or, and I think at some point, maybe they see a light, they see something right, they see that that destiny could be a proud, successful destiny in that child. But instead of embracing that, that envy or whatever that is that comes out will want to suppress it, or either it's almost like a mind control thing. If I can get in your mind and make you feel like you're nothing, if I can get in your mind and make you feel um have very low self-esteem, that's going to stop you from any progress. So these things I don't still will never understand, but it's some things that we need to be aware of. And I've seen things happen in different African American families where this type of oppression, depression, envy, and whatever else you want to call it, is happening right within our African American network. So to me, that's the monster part of it. You know, we're gonna stick together solid. We need to all stick together and support each other, and don't come from out of the dark or behind the scenes with this type of attitude. Um, and I don't know where this attitude comes from. And I said maybe it's a people thing that you're just around these people, but it's different though because I expect brothers and sisters to stick together. Maybe I'm too naive, but I learned I learned many different ways that those things happen by surprise. By you turn around like, wow, he did that. Wow, she did that. You know, oh wow, they hate you because you know you appear to be being successful, or that you're doing stepping out doing something different. You know, so that's another level in the mind. I'll say it's a whole nother realm. You know, so that's what I wanted to talk about because I've seen it and I've experienced it. And you know, when you first experience something like that as an African American person, you you know, it's a hurtful, but it's also like, you know, you just can't wrap your mind about why would we do that to our own people. And then there's another thing I want to add to that too. This is a whole nother realm. There's discrimination within our community, and there's also things that I've experienced. And I've got a lot of nice people that we all network and work together. So I do know that greatness and the connection of supporting each other does work, and it's wonderful. But I also have seen women against women. You know, and sometimes, you know, since we're African American, that's all we see and know. That why cannot we stick together? You see another sister making it, why can't you support another sister? So it's just a whole lot of monstrosity going on that might come out and surprise you or bite you. But it needs to be talked about and addressed, and hopefully that could bring about a change.
I like all the different perspectives that you did come from. And we've all heard the crabs in the barrel syndrome. And sometimes it seems like we don't really want to talk about it. Uh, Definitely we don't want to put that out on front as far as in the community, because a lot of times when something happens to one of our brothers or sisters, then somebody of our color is like, well, we need to look at black on black crime. We need to, I mean, you're right, but you don't have to just blast it out like that. We need to take care of our issues in our community, and not just, we already got enough to deal with. And it sounds like some people feel like, we are kind of turning on each other in that aspect. But honestly, truly, we have things to work on in our community. But I do think we should keep it in house, and not really like expose all of our issues to everybody. And for black people, we've always had try to put this extra perfect persona on and all that stuff, but that, of course, that's not reality. But we also do need to take that time to look within and stop just looking at the man, like you said, because sometimes the enemy is within, sometimes the enemy is in your circle or somebody that looks like you, and sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. believe in some negativity, like you said, growing up in that environment, you were fed negative things about yourself. And so you believe that and you turn that on you and turn that on other people, though that may not be the reality. So I appreciate all the different angles you were coming from. And yes, monsters are real.
Well,
Thank
I
you
just
for expounding on that topic.
well, can I say this too? Because that's why I said this is the weird. It's weird. It's two different realms. It's because we are African American, or mostly around African American, and that's all you see and know. So so there's the good side, but where's the other side? I say, is that a people thing? Is that a people type of thing? It just happen to be African American. But and I will say, like you said, it should be in house, taken care of in house. But the interesting thing about it is everybody knows. Every other culture knows as well. So yep, it is an embarrassing thing to even talk about it and put it out there more in the public ear, because it's like you're totally being exposed. But the thing about it is every other culture knows, and in their mind they say, well, they're gonna just hurt each other, so that gives everybody else the ups on you. And we know that's not true, not fully. It doesn't apply to everybody, every situation, every African American, every Caucasian. But as a general thought, you know and I've heard and seen, and I think that's part of a setup. It's part of a setup from perhaps from where we came from, our ancestors came from as well. It's a thing that we have to work on. And so if we can self-inflict, we can hurt yourself. So if we're going to self-inflict our own selves, then the other person well, they can use that to get ahead or do whatever they want to do, because they always say, okay, some people there in that culture, they're going to you know, keep each other down in some ways. So when you think about it, it's ironic because there's many, many, many African American people that I know that we are glad to see, and we're happy to see us be successful. But that's where we all should be. And I guess the flip side is the monster. The monster. You said it's to me, it's like a monster in the closet in the dark. And I think what it is person's minds, emotions. I think it's the self, or that person's self, how they feel about themselves, and so they in turn inflict that on to someone else. So if a person, whether it be in my culture or not, they feel um, in their selves they haven't seen themselves be successful, or they can't wrap their minds around moving forward, or if they have been impressed with just when they're their own family or situation. And a lot of times they I'm trying to see how to say that. If they see someone like them and they're close enough to them to touch them, which is interesting, 'cause they can be that close enough to be affiliated with you or touch you, then those emotions come out. And it just reminds me of the Bible. Jealousy is one of the most evil things that there is, because jealousy will kill. Jealousy, envy will, does so many different things. It brings about hatred. It does. And so we are human beings, to put it like that. We are human beings, and we are all close together. And where our moral standards are, what our emotions are, what we think and how we feel, have a lot to do with our reaction. So this all brings me to having another source in our life that's at a higher spiritual source. God is going to come into the picture some way, shape, form, or fashion, because if we learn about God being in our lives, He'll give us another. He'll teach us about it. It's all in the scriptures. Cain killed Abel because that was his own brother, because of jealousy. So you got all kind of things, that experiences that happen down through all the years, and it shows how even your own sister or brother could surprisingly
Yes.
or unsurprisingly do something against you because of envy. The Bible calls it envy and strife. So I think this is part of some of the things that we suffer pretty much, and it clicks in the mind. It's something that we need to control. Even if it might be a natural thing to feel a little envious because somebody, your sister, your brother, your neighbor of the same color, uh, they're getting ahead. And see, the thing is, the way things are set in this picture is if you see anybody of other culture getting ahead, we're like they're used to it. That's why they get ahead because they are who they are because of their skin color. So we don't take that the same way. But if you're with your own and everybody's coming, in the same, you appear to be at the same level, and someone seems to be, like you said, climbing out, climbing up, moving forward, which is there's a lot of talented, educated, gifted African American, as we all can see, and we
Hmm.
see it more and more every day. But then you have those that might be close to you, and that's what's a monstrosity there. Who they say, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. And I don't know about that, but I guess that what they're saying is keep your ears, eyes open, so you'll know. But at
Right.
times, I think we just don't feel that way. We just think everything's cool. Whoever's close to us is going to be. I've had things done to me where people wanted to be around, and I never thought that I was all of that or anything, but they wanted to. They was watching what I was doing, and they worked with me to learn what I was doing, and then they stole from me. And I've had more than one person do that, and I never knew uh, that person took anything from me till years later. They sent it to me in the mail, and I
Mm.
said, "Wow, what I got up and I trusted you, but they wanted my plan. They wanted what I did, and instead of us getting together helping each other, that person stole. It happened. It's a couple people that did that, and I know she said, I got your whole book. I got all how'd you get my stuff? I got up, I left my seat, I went to the ladies' room or I was doing something over here and you just took my stuff. So it's a thing that I wasn't even aware of that. That's how close that was. And I don't know if I should call that an African American thing, but that's more of but they were African American. So I don't know what to call it. All I can say is that was what someone did, which I was unaware of. And I would have never known if they must have went on a guilt trip and they decided years later to send me my information back. One of my I'm like, really? So I never knew, you know.
I
So
want to
I
go back to yeah, to that point you were saying about people being jealous of you. And I was experienced jealousy like unexpectedly because I'm like, I'm struggling over here too. I don't know what you think
right,
I'm
right.
doing.
Exactly.
Like people look on certain things you might be looking good for you. They don't know the whole back end story or behind the scenes. And I'm looking at them like you got this, and this. Why are you looking at me like you need to be jealous when I see you got a lot going for you? A lot of times we do that comparison game
Hmm.
and looking at what other people have. And again, we make that mistake because we don't know, they might be struggling too. You don't know all of everything that they're going through.
Right.
I mean, we're all in this struggle. So we
We're
need to
all in
stop
it
looking at the Joneses and trying to keep up with the so called Joneses and look at the blessings God has already put before us.
on each one. Yeah.
Exactly. You have your own gift, you have your own blessings. God is using you right now. Don't look at the next person because that's not for you. He's got something else for you.
Well, it can
And
also
that's the
can.
problem.
That's right.
And then also, go ahead.
Well, I would like to say many people work very hard for what they receive. I learned that because I've even heard us sit back and talk about how our sister got to be. When I was going to college, she's a provost, and definitely won't say her name, but I would hear some of I'm going to school. We're all going to school and work study. She thinks she all that because she lady went to her home. She was way out in Brownstown or whatever. I mean, a lot of land by the lake. But I had a personal conversation with her because I was in her office, and she told me what she did and all the things she went through to get what she got. She said I was a single mother, um, and I had 3 children, but I told myself I'm not going to get in a relationship with another person until my children grow up. She said I worked, went to school, and she became a doctor. African American lady. But on the other hand, I'm like, wow, she worked for what she had, like a lot of people do. There's people that just stand around and look at, like you said, at what you have, and then they thought, oh, who you think you are? Think you this and that. I'm like, wow. So that's something that we need to learn is that people do work. Like you said, you don't know the backstory to what
Yeah.
somebody went through to get where they are. And then on the flip side, there's back again. I can't help but bring the scripture. It tells us don't envy other people because you don't know how they got what they got. And I think a part of like if somebody might envy you for what you're doing, that's because you're really working for it. You don't know what the other person is doing to get look like they have or they might have. You don't know what they did. You don't know if they went underhanded. You don't know if it just look like it and it's not real, if it's a facade or not. So that's interesting that you would say that because there's some people that look like they have it going on. They might really have it going on, but you still have time to go look at someone else that you would think that has even at your level, and you want to step on them because you don't. It's all
Yeah.
kind of issues that we have, that people have, and we don't know why. But
Yeah, and then like you just made me think there's people that do appear to look like they have it going on, but like I said, you don't know that could be a front.
there's a front.
And they might be struggling so hard trying to keep that appearance up that they might not even have some of the basics because they trying to keep this
Hmm.
appearance up so hard for everybody else.
Right,
And you're
exactly.
not even happy because you
Trying to
struggling
look
so
good for
hard to look a certain
right,
way.
right.
Like for me, the end goal is happiness. It's not about what you have and material things. If I'm happy, if I'm doing what God called me to do, and I feel happiness and I feel good in that, then that's the stuff. That's what I want.
Hmm.
We're in a society where everything is built on money, power, looks,
Hmm.
and what you can buy, what you can get. And it's all about God being that foundation and God steering you in a direction. And that's the sweet spot right there that people don't get. It's not about how many accolades or how much you have or what industry you're in or how many degrees. None of that. Are you doing what God called you to do? Because
Hmm.
in that you will find your peace, you will find your happiness. You're not going to be looking at the next person and what they're doing because God already has you where He wants you to be. Also, I want to go back to that part where we were talking about how people basically say, well, they're doing it to themselves. They're messing their own people and society up, black on black crime or whatnot. And sometimes other cultures and the society and the system will take that as a scapegoat and say, well, just
Hmm.
blame it on us.
Right, exactly.
They're the reason why they're messed up. No, there's systematic racism in this world was been set up since slavery time
Hmm.
where we were always given less than, and even though structures have changed, it's still built in the system that black people are going to have it harder, minorities are going to have it harder, they're not going to get a fair shot. So a lot of times people will scapegoat that on us and say, oh, that's that culture, they're messing their own. No, you guys set it up for us to be in unfair situations,
Right,
not get the jobs we need, not get the education. We live in areas where we don't have access to anything. All of that's been a setup. So sometimes they do take that as a scapegoat reason. And of course, I think all communities, of course, the white community needs to look within and see what they need to do to fix themselves. All cultures do. All
well,
cultures need to go inside and
right,
say, we need to fix this. I think if all cultures looked within, we this will be a better place without looking at the other person saying this culture has this issue, this culture has that. Why don't you go within
right.
and
I
work on what you need to work on?
Yeah. Well, I think on the other cultures, because of setup, they made everything that we have. They feel entitled, and they don't have. Some people don't have to work as hard as I've seen. On the flip side, on the flip side, And I want to say this personally because I learned a lot doing business and dealing with my people, and I'm also other people that are not my people. And I love my people and being with my people. And um, I've learned over time, and so that means doesn't negate some of the experiences that I've had, the negative one, but there's a lot of us that do come together and stick together. There are a lot of us. So that's something that we do need to know and highlight, but we still can have these other experiences. And I'm saying maybe it's not just an African American thing, it's a people thing. It's who you're around. Like, and if you are in a deprived area and that's how you've been raised, and then it's generation after generation, and if you see somebody moving out of that realm, the thing is, a lot of times you're going like, where are you going? How do you think you're going to get out? Instead of saying, go, 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 and go on out, let's change the world, And then when you get out, I'm coming out, which does happen with some of us. But so it is a lot of a setup, for the whole situation. Every city that you go to, there is a deprived area, and a lot of them are people of color. And you have some areas that's just not people that's African American. You have other races too, that are of color. And also, um, what I've seen, the Caucasian area where those don't may not be educated or have work as near as hard, because I've seen jealousy on that end too. When they see the African Americans moving, they don't they say, how do the issue is anger because you are being successful, because you're moving, even though you've been targeted to go through these things. But look at, there's people in your race that are being successful. So I've seen that too, which I think is still part of the issue of racism, discrimination. um, no, like, who was that was on TV? That was a famous one of our African Americans. They said, I'm famous, I got money. And he said, but when it comes to an encounter with certain other people that's not African American, it doesn't mean a thing when they still treat you the same way, even though you have been successful, even though that you're at the top of the line, even though that you are wealthy, even though you have made it. What you want per se, you want to say I made it, but when you encounter certain people that have been raised in their culture to hate and all of that, I feel it all was based on uh you keep another man down because of jealousy, because of envy, because of what you have, or they can see. Sometimes people can look at you and see the greatness that you have, and that's on a large. If they can crush you down and make you feel that you're not able, then they can't. You know what I'm saying? If they can do it, and if they see you rising up, they want to crush you down, or they've been finding a way to find you as a scapegoat. So it's just a lot, as a people. And I will still say that within us, there's a greater us that are, you can see the success. I mean, you can see it all the time. You see it everywhere, and even the more, And I just think in time, God is fixing it. And even though we have to go through what we're going through to get out of it, or for things to change. So it's like, well, how are you going to get out of this mess that people have made, where certain people have to go to certain things, or they don't get no equality, or they don't get what the other person gets. um, but over time, and it's rough coming out. It's like you got to go through the tunnel, come out of the dark, get on to the other side. But all the things you have to go through for that change to come. So changes just don't happen. Something has to happen, a cause and effect, to make that change happen. In other words, people will be affected by it coming out. People might get hurt by it. As you see over time, many of us have gotten killed for it and still are in so many different ways. But still, you still see us overcoming and reaching our goals, reaching our horizons, and all that. And just, you can't stop it. So you want to stop it, but you just can't stop it. So there's a fight going on with who's going to make it, who's not. So, if we look at the overall situation, and some people, our people are a strong people to be able to have gone through and still going through right at this time. But as being a strong people, to still come out, still fight it. It's just others of us that we got to continue to hold on to each other. So if everybody sees the brother making it or the sister making it or whatever we all going through, because we do feel the pain of each other, of what goes on the flip side, and it maybe that would help us to you know all the envy, all the strife, all the you're gonna make it, how you think you're gonna make it, maybe that would diminish. I just know, in fact, if you keep going and doing what you're supposed to do, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, red, yellow. If you do what you're supposed to do, that you're gonna make it and nobody can stop it. My main thing is we need to have a higher source. If you mean I want to hear that, it's something bigger than me and you, and that's God. And He teaches us all the skills, He gives us the weapons, He gives us the tools, He gives us the knowledge on how we can do what we can do and be successful and do it the right way. And it's a hard climb. It may not be hard, but it's long. Proverbs say you work long and hard. And he said those that work long and hard, even at times, you can be discouraged. That means it's not going to be you might be discouraged sometimes, like, wow, this is just not working. I'm tired. I've been doing this for years. I've been trying to make my business do this, and that. But, if you believe in yourself, but if you believe in that higher power of God, if you read that scripture and it tells you that if you keep working, even at your lowest time, you feel like your lowest time, continue to persevere. It said you will reap plentifully. So it's just like a law of time, a law of life. If you keep moving, if you keep working, no matter what comes in the way, but you keep moving, keep going, then something good is going to happen. People say push until something happens. Well, if you keep doing good, if you keep working, if you keep steadfast, if you keep persevering, even when everything is going on, you will make it, and you're gonna make it big. See, some people are like, how am I gonna make it big? Well, I don't make it big. But you had to work for it, you know. So if we can do that and we can hand it to our children, and the climb, I don't know if it's gonna be easier, but it's just gonna be in us. Because the child sees that, okay, mom's dad, they're out there working hard. I'm gonna work hard. I see them, they made it. I'm gonna make it. And you're gonna go reach the higher level. So if you can see where many of the African Americans have made it, is they work hard for it. So that's the hope that we have. That's the inspiration that we all have to look at. And when you see people like that, that's the inspiration for all people, not just the African Americans. Anybody can look at it like, wow, you see what they did, so I guess I'll stop because this is like a big lesson. But
Amen.
it definitely is the monsters in the closet who come out the dark.
You changed it to monsters in the closet.
And then now they do have monsters that you can see. Now it's all that's how I feel about where we are today. A lot you used to be undercover, so you rather see them so you can get prepared. Now you can
Mhm.
see straight. They didn't pull the cover off, you know,
Yeah.
and you see like, wow, this is right in my face. So
Mhm.
that's where we're at. So now you can be ready, set, go, ready, set, run, ready, set, cover, ready, set, protect yourself. But by all means, keep pushing and keep going. And one thing about it is we can't let what other people do, how they feel, stop you to the point that either you start turning against your own folks, and then you start hating people because of what somebody did to you. So here again,
Mhm.
we have to acclimate ourselves to the situation. And once you see what it is, just go ahead. Sometimes you have to remove yourself from the situation, but don't um don't let that spirit jump on you. You know, like they hated me, they don't want to see me make it. Da 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 da. If you start adapting to that and build up the big hate factor, uh, then now you have something to work on your own self. So, I mean, how do you become free? There's so many things we got to become free of, especially that monster in the people. Then you got to watch the monster in yourself.
Mm. Okay, London. I don't know if this is gonna carry on until through the Sunday, but you guys can join London on her page, London Washington on Facebook, as well as on her Twitter and YouTube. But for Sunday morning, you can catch her on Facebook and licmc.net radio. So stay tuned for that. And we're going to see what God um, gives her in the morning. Thank you guys for watching. For those of you that watched, we appreciate you. We love you so much. We are celebrating Black History. We are celebrating our people, and we are celebrating and praying for us and praying for our world in general. We all need each other. And hopefully you enjoy this presentation. Join us again 10 p.m. on licmc.net radio with CBiz Media. And we're gonna close out, but we're going to reintroduce our friend LaShawn Patterson, actor that works with us with our podcast, CBiz Media, and we're gonna have a little chill time gospel, and that's gonna carry us out into licmc.net radio. So we're closing here live, but if you go to licmc.net radio, you can hear that. And you guys have a blessed night. Thank you, London.
Bye bye. Thank you.